Hello, lovely people! Welcome to the Geek Cupboard. I am Pench, and welcome back to the lovely Just One Line and the Adventures of Dwarfish Carol. And here is Dwarfish Carol. She's just there. I took her hood down. She looks better with the hood down. I like the vibrant hair that she has. And yes, she's doing okay. Now, if you look up here in the stats, you might think she's not doing that well. She's only dealt 2 damage in a fight, and she's received 2 damage in a fight. And that was the one fight we did where I think we fought a gnoll, was it? And we went to hit the gnoll, and the gnoll hit us, and then we were nearly dead, so we ran off. And that led to the death, presumably, or the sacrifice of a small boy who we didn't rescue. So our first quest that we went to do was to rescue a boy. We failed, and he was presumably slaughtered. But the other 2 quests we've done are actually okay. What did we do? We defeated some bandits and we stopped some brawling in a tavern. So with that, we were able to buy ourselves some fancy things. We've got ourselves some robes here that are nice, gives a little bit more sort of protection and hit points and what have you. And we also treated ourselves to this wand here, which does actually have, it looks like it's got the handle of like a pistol almost. It looks very, very cool. And yeah, so it's obviously got sparkly bits on and swirly, circly things, which clearly make it very powerful indeed. What's that called? What is that called? I own one of those. What is it? It's not raccoon. It is the steel finger. That's it. It's one of those. And last time I went, I don't know what this is. I was a weaponsmith Sakes. Apparently, I got contacted by the devs, and they said, what they did was they held competitions to design certain things. And Sakes, however you pronounce that, Sakes, was the person who designed the steel finger magic wand. So that's quite cool. So, they've got some community input and it actually made its way into the game. That's very, very cool. So, yeah, it gives a 2 damage and an extra hit point. The long-term goal at the moment for Dwarfish Carol is to get, which one was it? One of these. Oh, no, not that one. Where's the natty green number? There we go. The green linen weave. We want to get ourselves 135 gold to get one of these. 4 extra hit points, which would be lovely, rather than the 2 we get now. So we get 2 more hit points and we get 2 wit and 1 cunning thrown in as well. I mean, the ultimate goal would be to go down to here, get the enchanter robe, and then the ultimate, mega ultimate, even more ultimate than that goal would be to go for, probably this one? Maybe that. What can you do with it? Oh, there's all sorts of cool stuff. Oh, look at that. That is what I want. I want the storm robe. 6 hit points, 4 wit, 2 cunning. That looks fantastic. I want that. But then also we can obviously give ourselves magic rings. We can give ourselves better weapons and all that kind of stuff. So yes, let's get on with the quest. We have ourselves Enchanted Waters, where we have to go and speak to Jean Bow. Now I kind of have a vague recollection of this. I can't remember what Jean Bow does. I remember he complains about your timeliness or something, but I can't remember anything else about that quest from when I did it before. We've got Laments in the Cemetery. I remember that one. You don't get a lot of gold for that, however. Or we could do Unarranged Marriage. I'm a respectable member of the Stonecutters Elite. I demand the intervention of an adventurer with strong investigative skills. My daughter wants to marry a tall bean, in quotes. You need to find out his identity and help me change her mind. And this guy is the person that we met in the brawls in the pub before. And he was, that's why he was fighting. He was angry about this whole situation where his daughter wants to marry a non-dwarf and he's a stonecutter, and it's all a bit of a sort of hit to the family prestige and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think we go and do this. 160 gold, if I can pull it off. I might get a portion of that if I do something right. Let's go and do that. Why the heck not? Let's go and see if we can sort out an unarranged marriage. Oh, now this is intriguing. I've never been here before. I don't think this bit was in the early access version I played, so we're in the sort of the land of the dwarves, are we? The land of the stonecutters. That looks very, very good. So we're up in the mountains. How pretty it looks too. That looks lovely. Look at these guys up here with great big sort of blunderbuss star weapons. Okay, how exhausting, you thought, after climbing up the steps. Come on, don't pretend to be fit. You're out of breath. Absolutely. Couple of steps and I am gasping for breath. You manage to reach the main access and get in. You find yourself in a huge, dark and crumbling hall. These ruins seem to have been abandoned for centuries. You try to catch sight of a figure amongst those big statues. Something similar to a dwarf, but it is too dark to find your bearings. All of a sudden you hear a sound like the scuttling of many feet. A multitude of small green lights blink at you intermittently. You soon realise they're not lights, but eyes. A dreadful cave spider lunges closer, as black as pitch, as big as a dog, bristly hairs covering its massive body. The beast snaps its jaws and its legs twitch towards you. You pull out your weapon and prepare to face the creature. Oh dear, so already I'm fighting. I'd rather not fight. Oh, it's 3 stars again. it's a you're not going to win this because it's going to be really impossible to win kind of thing. Well, let's use our arcane shot. We might kill the thing in one go. Let's just try it and see what happens. We've damaged it a bit. If I attack, am I going to lose 4 hit points? Okay, let's do one attack and see what happens. This could be a very, very short video. Do you know what, though? If that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. Let's attack. And, oh, it's been defeated. I am victorious. However, I am on half health and I've not got my power shot anymore. I've not got my sort of power attack. Oh, dear. Okay, great. The horrible spider isn't really a problem. You focus again on the huge hall, looking for the stonecutter. It would have been nice if he'd have met me at a place where there wasn't a giant, terrifying spider. You start to suspect you've got the wrong place. Yet there's no other dwarfish underground city in the realm as far as you know. Suddenly you hear a whistle and see a little flame burning from a corner to your right. Okay. You recognise a silhouette of a dwarf coming from a hole in the wall. But it's not just any dwarf. It's that thug you met at the tavern a while ago. Well, yeah, I kind of worked that out from the message. I sort of assumed that was fairly obvious, but okie doke. Adventurer, come here. Oh, hang on, he's a dwarf. Adventurer, come here. You do as he bids, and he leads you down a narrow and crooked tunnel. You follow with some difficulty, a little breathless behind the dwarf, who's light and agile over the stone. I am a dwarf also. I am a dwarf. Why am I not light and agile? Ask him for information about your task. Ask him for information about the dwarvish ruins behind me. Okay, well, let's ask about the ruins. We'll probably ask about the task anyway at some point. Ruins? What ruins? The dwarf explains that these are not ruins at all. The crumbling room you saw earlier is not abandoned. The dwarves are simply doing some renovations in that area, but a few months ago they had to stop because of the stonemason strike. First time down here, right? You can't be a true merchant, adventurer, or tourist of the realm if you've never been to this magnificent city at least once. Ask him for information about your task. Okie doke, what's going on? With resignation, he explains the situation to you. We, the Stonecutters, pass on our wealth from generation to generation. On the wedding day, as has been the tradition for centuries, the bridegroom receives a coffer filled to the brim with gold and jewels. For this reason, Stonecutters want their sons and daughters to marry other dwarves, preferably from the Stonecutters Guild, so you can receive greater wealth in return. Okay, ask him why he hasn't tried to find out whom his daughter fancies for himself, or ask what kind of husband he wants for his daughter. I don't care, he wants a dwarf, he said it just there. So yeah, let's try and ask why he hasn't sort of tried to work out this situation himself. Dwarf replies that he has no intention of letting his daughter find out he's investigating her. She'd be furious. You know how teens are, he cautions. He adds that his daughter must never see the two of you together, or she would suspect that he has hired you to persuade her to marry a dwarf. Okay, what kind of husband do you want, man? A dwarf, I guess. Yes, he'll be a dwarf for certain. I swear it on my ancestors. My Brenner is stubborn. Says she's in love with one of those bean poles. Down here, we call them the tall beans in a less respectful way, obviously. Yeah, if it is a man or elf, though, I don't know. Okay, ask him if he can't be an orc. No, whatever. Let's keep following the dwarf. After walking several meters through the tunnel, in the dark, only the light of the dwarf's torch to guide you, the landscape opens up in front of you, revealing a town built into the stone of a huge cavern. Magnificent, isn't it? The dwarf smiles. Anyway, my name is Torder. I'm going to call him Torder, because that, I don't know. Is that how you pronounce that? I don't speak dwarf. He nods in introduction. Great stone buildings lie before you with intricate designs and colonnades. I assume that's what that word is. I've never seen it before. Surrounded by more modest stone structures that are linked by twisted ramps and suspended over streets sustained by round arches. It sounds magnificent. The square is teeming with people of every race, merchants of all types trading and screaming to lure in potential buyers. Booths of spices, ripe fruits and strange animals envelop you with their scents and vibrant colours. You arrive in the front of a nice house on one of the main streets. Report to me as soon as you have found some clues as to the identity of this third-rate womanizer. Start looking at the Emporium. The owner is always well informed, especially where gossip is concerned. Okay, right. Emporium. You step into a weird shop full of curiosities. Welcome, traveller. You can find anything you want at Griffin's Feathers, and sometimes something you would never expect. A sharp little voice welcomes you inside the shop. After a while, you notice a tiny creature, barely taller than a boot, talking. Hey, haven't you met a gnome before? The little man fixes his large pointy hat on his head and says, How can I help you? Okay, well, ask about the latest news in the city. Maybe he's heard something about the rumours of this guy's daughter and her fancy man. The gnome tells you people here have been nervous lately. There's the stonemason strike and, as you've already noticed, the west entrance's renovation was suspended. He also tells you the people here are afraid of the recent violent events on the surface world. There's also great excitement over the live concert here tonight. Justin Bevere, one of the famous minstrels of the realm, is performing. Oh, okay. I'm going to ask for more information about the turmoil on the surface. That might be interesting. The gnome tells you the authorities are still investigating. It seems some shield brothers are rebelling against the king, and they are plotting to take power. It seems a coup d'etat is coming, but nobody yet knows who is leading the rebellion. Okay, let's ask about the famous minstrel. The gnome says the minstrel is an elf with long blonde hair. Ooh, tall person, long blonde hair. Is it this person? He's a celebrity of the realm. He also tells you the famous bard is loved by women and envied by men. The girls who listen to his music go crazy for him, and that makes the boys angry whenever they see him. Unfortunately, the gnome doesn't have any more information and tells you to ask the traders in the market. They can tell you more. Okay. I feel obliged to ask these questions. I'm going to ask if he knows... Oh, no, let's not ask about my boss guy, because then he might put two and two together and spill the beans. Ask how business is going. Why the heck not? The gnome tells you business is great, even if he's having problems with the suppliers lately. He's heard rumours about it. It seems some smugglers have been stealing rare goods from his delivery boys down in the suburban alleyways. Okay, why didn't you call the city guards or ask if you know the boss guy? Okay, no, let's see why he doesn't want to bother the guards. Well, we're talking about things I can't exactly display here in my shop. Don't judge me, my clients have special demands. I didn't say anything to the guards for obvious reasons. It is not permitted to sell these kinds of products in town. The gnome offers you a reward if you can help him retrieve his goods. Good grief. Okay, I'm not going to ask about the boss guy because that might get me in trouble. So yeah, let's leave the Emporium and go back to the main square. You don't have the whole day. You can only visit one of these places. Let's go to the market. That seems like an obvious place. Lots of people there. The market is in one of the corners of the square. You can see it stands on the road, not far from the city centre. Have a taste of these sweets, calls an elf with a hooked nose, offering you some candied dates. Fresh meat, shouts a big dwarf from his butcher stand. Aching joints, love sickness, itching, ladies and gentlemen, try my miraculous poultice, claims another with a fashionable turban. In this market there are sellers for every need. After the first stands you see three sellers chatting cheerfully. They see you coming, they realise you're an outlander, and smile at you while beckoning you closer. Come here. Okay, let's ask about her. Seems straightforward. Just go straight in, try and find out what we're doing. One of the three says he doesn't know much about the girl. She's the daughter of an honourable stonecutter, and she often comes to the market to buy some meat from him. Okay, whose voice is this? Oh, I don't know whose voice is this. I'll just do a generic voice. Rumour has it her father is really worried about all his wealth. His daughter wants to marry a tall bean, and they don't honour stonecutter customs, says another, entering the conversation. Ask how you can impress Brenna. Okay, that's fine. Little Brenna is an adult now, and as the years have passed, she's become one of the most beautiful dwarfesses in town. Oh, fine, not me then. Fine. I mean, look, have you seen my hair? How awesome is my hair? But no, fine, Brenna. One of the three suggests you could buy her one of his dolls, assuring you it is the right gift to impress her. The second offers you some pies with elfin custard he made himself. You lure girls with good food. The third tries to sell you a finely wrought necklace. He assures you it will be splendid on Brenna's neck. Well, I've only got 40 gold, so I can't buy a doll and I can't buy a necklace. Custard pies? Is that really going to impress a dwarven, pretty, beautiful dwarfess who's the heir to a lot of money? I don't think pies. I don't need to buy anything. Get off. The sellers smile and follow you, asking if you need something else. Get away from me. Ask if they know something about the minstrel. Can do that. The three answer, laughing. That elf has driven all the girls in the realm mad, especially young stonecutters. They believe it's a scam perpetrated against the richest families. The elf, after marrying the young women and taking the treasure, as given in stonecutter custom, runs away and never comes back. This already happened to many other families. The stonecutters are furious. Well, I wonder what's going to happen in this quest. I assume that the girl, Brennan, wants to marry this minstrel guy. Ask if the minstrel is actually that good. Contrary to what you may think, the minstrel is a terrible player. People despise his music. That isn't unusual, but the way women worship him is. He's not even particularly handsome. Rumour has it he has a magical musical instrument, which can charm any woman with a few notes. It's a magic lute. The three sellers talk over each other excitedly. Okay, ask about the magic lute. The three merchants can't say anything else about the lute. They suggest you go to another seller who's down the road, an expert regarding musical instruments, especially exotic ones. But clearly I'm not doing that because I'm going straight back to Torador's house, okay? You arrive to Torador's house. The fire is huge with two big stairways in the centre. The butler, he's got a butler, la-di-da, tells you he was warned about your arrival. Warned? That sounds a bit threatening, okay. As you lead you up the stairs, you hear a girl sing her heart out. It must be Brenna. Her voice is coming from a room down the hall. In his office, Torador is completely caught up with his business. On his desk, there are dozens of papers, ink bottles, quill pens, and several money bags scattered about. Okay, tell him what you've discovered about the minstrel. Tell him what you've discovered about the magic lute. Well, the minstrel, we don't know much about the magic lute. The minstrel seems more obvious. She has a crush on an elf. I knew it. Those beanpoles. You can never trust them. He will never get his hands on my gold. The dwarf bellows, grumbles and swears for a while. When he is calmer, he advises you to go to the old town hall and talk with other stonecutter families, or with the lute seller down the old road, near the square with the ancient statue. He tells you to hurry up. You're going to face that tall beam before the concert begins. He doesn't want him to get away unpunished. Okay. So I can tell him what I've discovered about the lute. I can go and talk to Brenna, or I can leave the house and go back to the square. Let's go and try and talk to the girl. Let's see if we can talk some sense into her. You tiptoe into Brenna's bedroom. This is a bit stalkery creepy, but okay, why don't I knock? She's wearing a splendid cream dress, very elegant. She hasn't noticed you. She's too engrossed in putting on her makeup, fixing her hair and loudly singing the same song you heard when you came into Torda's house. I don't know how this... I don't know what it goes like. Love, I will marry you, na-na-na. I'm sure it was far more melodic than that, but whatever. It's an average wealthy teen's bedroom with many posters on the walls. Brenna turns around and sees you. Ah, finally, I called for you an hour ago, coachman. Are the horses and carriage ready to go? Ask her what horses and carriage she's talking about. Ask her about the minstrel. Take a look closer at the poster. Yeah, let's do that. The poster shows an elf with long blonde hair and an aquiline nose. He's holding an unusual-looking instrument, a lute with golden strings. Well, there you go. That's our sort of minstrel friend there. Okay, ask about the minstrel. She tells you she's madly in love with the minstrel. She adds that, because of her love for him, she was the victim of a nasty incident in the elf forest a few days ago. Okay, ask about the incident. She answers, tearing up, that she met an old witch in the forest to buy a very expensive elixir, hoping to make the famous bard fall in love with her. On the way back, near the creek, something scared her. It was probably just a harmless little creature, but she was so startled she threw the precious potion into the river. Ah, okay, so people drinking from that river are all now getting this potion in them. Is that the thing? And they're all falling in love with him or something? I don't know. Ask her more about Dustin. Who's Dustin? Did Dustin appear earlier and I've not done that? Is Dustin the elf? Dustin might be the elf. I love him. I truly love him. He's an excellent musician and he's gorgeous. The people are just envious of him. That's why they spread those nasty lies about him. They say he has a magic lute with which he enchants girls. Nothing but lies. Brenna's on the brink of an emotional outburst. Let's leave the dwarf's house. Let's leave the hysterical young girl. Just leave her alone. And let's go back to the square. There's not much time left. It's getting dark. You have to decide where to go. So imagine this is the last location. City Hall or the instrument seller's shop. I feel we should go to the instrument seller's shop. See if he's got anything to do with this lute. And if he has, maybe we could sort of reverse the spell on it or something. I am a mage after all. I am a mage. Let's see if there's something we can do. You have a plan in mind. Do I? Do I have a plan in mind? Oh, good. Well, brilliant. I love it when I have a plan in mind. Tell me, what's the plan? All you need is a lute that appears identical to the one owned by the elf. Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Good plan. Go me. The minstrel charms his victims with its magic. The shop has all sorts of music makers, from the classic to the bizarre. A human sits on a stool, tuning a strange guitar with 3 handles. He sees you coming and welcomes you with a big smile. You tell the merchant about the minstrel's weird lute. He tells you that he knows of it. There's an old legend about a beggar and his lute. The beggar managed to get a golden mane from a now extinct animal, and he used the hair to make the strings of his lute. You don't have much time. Interrupting the long story, you ask if he could help you. The man shows you another perfectly identical lute, but without any magic powers. It'll be yours for 150 coins. I certainly lack 150 coins. Haggle for a better price. You try to convince the man to give you a discount, but he's not going to let his goods go for anything yet less. Yeah, that 150 is very expensive. Given that you don't get a lot of gold for these quests anyway, that is very, very extortionate. Okay, go to the theatre. It's late. The concert is about to start. You easily elude his bodyguard. The huge orc is sleeping, wearing a coat with the elf's big face painted on it. You get inside the minstrel's changing room, through a curtain covering the entrance. Without making a sound, you hide yourself behind some boxes and stage costumes left over from the previous show. Dustin's back is toward you as he sings to himself. He's really off-key. He hasn't realised you're there. You spy the lute, tucked inside a precious leather case, with silver embroidery, placed atop a stool. Ah, so I can creep over to the lute, or I can confront him. So I can either steal his source of power, or I can just talk to him. I'm going to try and steal it. I've got a fair bit of cunning going on, so I should be able to be a bit stealthy. Let's try and creep over to it. Brilliant. You stumble clumsily before grabbing the lute with a loud clatter. Oh, well, Carol, you are the queen of subtlety indeed. All of a sudden, Dustin turns round. He's surprised to see you here. He calls out loudly to his orc henchman, who charges into the room after a few seconds, rubbing his eyes. The guard pulls out a large knife and attacks you. In the general chaos, the minstrel manages to grab his lute. Dustin immediately starts to play random notes. At the first, the music is muddled, but then, oh no! Oh, Carol, don't listen to it! Dwarfish Carol, ignore his tunes! A sweet melody fills the room. You feel completely lost in those notes. A gentle spring wind, a sweet scent, Dustin's blonde locks, his eyes, his charming smile. Continue listening to the sweet melody. Oh, hang on, what? What? Oh my goodness me! Right, my wit has gone down, and I've been robbed or something. I've lost 80 gold somehow. I had plus 40. I've now got minus 40. The melody sticks in your mind. You can't get rid of it. You're having surreal visions, like some twisted dream. You regain your senses just after the concert, and with a terrible headache, you return to Torda's house. The dwarf is furious because Brenna's made her engagement to the elf official. He shouts at you, demanding you leave. You run back to the tavern. Well, that was an absolute, undeniable disaster. That was a disaster. I lost 80 gold, so I've got no gold. I've failed the quest. I've lost a wit point. Or maybe that was just temporarily for this, for that particular quest. I lost a point of fame, but I did get a point of renown. So, every cloud. Yeah, that is unfortunate. So I do have a cunning of 2. I have a cunning of 2, so I thought, I'll be able to creep and get the loot. But no, alas not. Also, what's weird is I have minus 40 gold, which would imply that I owe somebody some gold. But I don't really know who, so if I get 20 gold, I'm going to go to minus 20. It's as I'm sort of in debt to a bank or something. I don't really understand, but okay, never mind. What does it say? Dustin Bevere's concert has been a great success. Thousands of screaming girls launch flowers, golden coins, and even bras onto the stage. Good lord. At least this is what one witness swears to have seen. As usual, the beloved minstrel rapidly slipped away right after the show with plenty of gold as his payment. The fans can't wait for the next concert. Right, that went miserably wrong then, didn't it? So I've got no money. So, Goblin Invasion, Enchanted Waters, Laments in the Cemetery. Goblin Invasion actually pays quite nicely. That pays quite well. Let's do that. Let's do Goblin Invasion. An enraged goblin horde has come from the western woods. They have been going around that area for a while and then occupied a village, forcing some inhabitants to flee. Their great number prevents us from pushing them back, so we're looking for a valiant hero who could convince them to leave. I mean, they're only goblins. They're not going to be, the most highbrow, intelligent people. So hopefully my cunning of 2, my wit of 3 should be okay to make them leave. If we do that, 180 gold. That'll be very, very welcome indeed. I mean, it'll offset the minus gold we've got right now. So, let's try and deal with a goblin invasion, shall we? You are on a journey to the village occupied by the goblins. You think about how to introduce yourself when you get there. It is certain you cannot kill them all by yourself. I would be surprised if we could kill any of them by myself, given that I'm relatively unarmed and I'm holding a stick. But, okay, continue. On the way, you meet a merchant on a wagon towed by a donkey. He speaks to you when you are close enough. I advise you to go no further on this road, he adds. That village seems to be occupied by a goblin clan. If I knew beforehand, I would not have come here. Time is money. Well, okay, I can continue, or I can get more information. If the merchant's been there, he may well have some information. Let's try and get what we can. To go further, you can find a minor hound squad. They said the entire village is under clan control. Their leader, a shaman, is staying in a mill and rules from there. Like a king in a castle. Madness. He's forcing the population to serve him and has even sent goblins into the villages nearby to convince them to ally with him. Maybe that little crazy one aims to rule the whole realm. Who knows? The merchant says, while bursting into laughter. Okay, ha ha ha. It is good the king is now committed to the problems of the Shield brothers. Otherwise, they would all be dead. The clan will be exterminated soon, but in the meantime the inhabitants will not be doing well. The hounds are not prepared or large enough to fight an entire clan. I imagine there's nothing we can do but wait for the king's orders. So, okay, I can greet the merchant and steal something for the shaman as he passes by, or I can continue my way to the village. Steal something from the merchant? That's very dishonourable. Let's not do that. I'm going to get caught, and the merchant probably won't care anyway. Let's just continue on our way. You can continue on your way until you reach the hound squad, as the merchant mentioned. They advise you to go back, but you tell them you're an adventurer who has come to help. The small group seems sceptical, but they let you pass through. As soon as you glimpse the fields in the distance, you see a handful of goblins armed with spears running in your direction. They must be the village guards. An unfriendly fat goblin asks you, "Who are you? What do you want here?" Answer by saying you're an ambassador of a nearby town. Answer by saying you're a mercenary looking for a job. answer that you're a wise man and you want to offer your services as a counsellor. Well, I mean, a wise woman, possibly. A wise woman. I mean, okay, I'll put my hood up. Man, woman out there. But, it's Carol. I'm Dwarfish Carol. A wise woman. I'm gonna answer that I'm a wise woman and I want to offer my services as a counsellor. Shaman is smart than all, but maybe he wants to talk with you anyway, says the goblin. He orders 2 guards to escort you to the village while he reports to the shaman. Take him in the shack and keep eye on him, orders the fat guard as he leaves. Okay, so I'm just stood in a little shack, am I? The guards take you to the village square. On the way, you see hundreds of goblins. They're everywhere, in the houses, the streets, and the fields. Many of them are armed, but others are not. You also see females and children. It is really an entire clan. You can see a mill with odd pictures painted on the walls, surrounded by rough tents. It must be the place where the shaman lives. Okie doke, carry on. You meet the village inhabitants, often followed by goblins, pushing them to move and work with spears and sticks. They cry for help, but the little guards always hush them quickly. You get to your destination, a small shack made of thin trunks. You enter and wait. Okay, so we've got to wait for the fat goblin to come back, ask for information, overcome the 2 guards, or try to charm the guards with your magic. Absolutely, go magic. You focus channeling your power into your words. You tell the guards they don't have to pay attention to you, since you're going to simply going around for a walk, but you're coming back soon. The goblins look at you with stupid expression on their faces and nod. So you cautiously get out of the shack and go to the mill. Yes, this is not the dwarf you're looking for. Indeed, yes, Carol the Jedi. Right, you pay attention and avoid every goblin patrol you see. You finally reach the mill. You take cover and you peek from behind the corner of a house. There are 2 guards in front of the mill. You don't see any more goblins, but there must be more inside, though not too many. Okay, my options. Fight goblins, peacefully approach goblins, burn the unaware goblins with magic. Yeah, alright, should we burn them with magic? If they're unaware, we'll probably get them. That might then cause a panic. If I peacefully approach the goblins, I suspect they're gonna just not bother talking to me. They're just gonna go, I'll just kill you. We'll just stab you in the head. So I'm gonna burn them. Because I've got magic. I'm a mage. I might as well use my angry magic powers. So let's do that. There's no need to be cautious anymore. You jump out of your hiding place and focus your power. The goblins notice you and try to get away, but before they can take cover, you throw a fireball which smashes against the mill door. The guards fall on the ground after the explosion, but immediately get back on their feet and rush at you swinging their weapons. Oh dear, that did not go according to plan. Oh, the goblins are badly wounded. Nice blood. Another 3-star enemy. 3 skull enemy, whatever. Another tier 3 enemy. Have we had anything less than the maximum difficulty in this game so far? I don't think we have. Well, they're quite wounded. Let's just attack the goblins and see what happens. Okay, they've been defeated. However, I am down to half health. I'm down to half my hit points, but I do have my arcane shot still. I haven't used that yet. The goblins are defeated. I am victorious. Go me. After you destroyed those poor goblins, you get inside the mill. In the room, you notice several goblins hiding in the corners and behind anything they can find. Only one has the courage to stand in front of me. He has a long black beard and thousands of necklaces hanging from his neck that force him to bend forward. He must be the shaman. You better run, or me kill you, the goblin says to you. He seems very determined and his voice betrays no fear. Attacking would be particularly stupid given my current situation. Let's try and convince him to leave the village. You offer the shaman the opportunity to leave this village peacefully, but he doesn't seem inclined to give up so easily. He looks at you with hostility and starts chanting while slowly moving his hands. You attempt to strike before he finishes the spell, but he moves incredibly fast, definitively beyond normal. The spell must already be ongoing. You can only keep on fighting at this point. Oh dear. I have to fight the shaman who is entirely undamaged. Okay, I can attack. I can spill the cauldron contents on the shaman. That's intriguing. Or I can run away. I could use my arcane shot. So arcane shot, your sort of special ability thing, can do one of 3 things, as we saw last time. Number 1, it can do utterly nothing at all. Number 2, it can do a random amount of damage between, I think it's 1 and your maximum power, I think, possibly. But, it's not going to be very much. Between 1 and 4, possibly. Which is not that good, given that he is yet another tier 3 enemy. The 4th one we've faced, have we? Given that we're not a warrior of any kind. Or the third option for your sort of special shot thing is that he could die. He could die instantly. Given that it's unlikely we're going to be fighting anyone else, let's try the arcane shot first. If he dies, he dies. Brilliant. If he doesn't, we'll spill the cauldron contents on him. Let's try it. And whop. The shaman is undamaged. No, that did utterly nothing at all. Oh, Dwarfish Carol, you are on dangerous ground. Let's spill the cauldron contents on the shaman. I have had no luck with that arcane shot thing. It's been rubbish. Every time I've used that, it's been terrible. Right, spill the cauldron contents on the shaman. And, Orcish Carol is dead. Not Orcish Carol, I've even turned her into an orc. Dwarfish Carol. Oh, sorry, the final insult for you, Carol, there was being referred to as an orc. Dwarfish Carol is dead. Oh, no. Dwarfish Carol is dead. I don't even know what happened there. I don't know. I won't find out the story. Presumably I tried to knock the cauldron contents over and the shaman came back and punched me in the head or stabbed me or did something. I don't know. It didn't tell me. There was no descriptive text telling me what happened to Orcish. I keep calling her Orcish. To Dwarfish Carol. No text to find out. But alas, she is dead. Oh, we did all right. I don't think we were particularly good there, really. We struggled. We struggled with pretty much all the quests we did. But there we go. The tale of Dwarfish Carol comes to a somewhat grisly end. And there we go. Dwarfish Carol is dead, and that was a very, very unsuccessful video in terms of Just Fun Line quests. Both of them we failed. One of them we failed miserably, the other one we failed fatally, because Dwarfish Carol is now a corpse. And do you know what? I think I have learned something about Just One Line. I think I have learned something important there. The easy mode, if you like, if you want to go for an easier game, you choose someone who is hitty. You choose a fighty, hitty thing. You choose an orc if you've unlocked orcs. You choose a warrior so they can have all the big armor, all the big weapons. They've got hit points. They've got strength. And they can just go forth and bash stuff and survive. Because the main problem is hit points. Hit points seem to be the limiting factor there. Because like her magic powers didn't do much. Her magic powers did a fireball on the goblins outside that mill. But then I didn't do any magic on the inside. Why don't I just blast another fireball in there? I don't know. I'm not really sure. But obviously having far more hit points keeps you alive for longer. So the easy option is just go for a big sort of brutish hitty character. If you want to roleplay it a bit more like we have done this time, it makes it infinitely more harder. If you're playing someone with very limited hit points, with very few hit points, then yeah, it becomes harder and harder. I mean, we could in theory have run away then. We could have run away. However, I suspect that shaman guy made himself so fast and so quick, he probably would have caught up with us and chopped our knees off or something, and we would have fallen down anyway. So there we go. Oh, that was a terrible showing. That was a terrible showing. Dwarfish Carol is in nowhere in the same league as Orcish Dave. Orcish Dave is an absolute hero, whereas Dwarfish Carol is just going to be consigned to the graveyard over here somewhere, which we didn't even get to. This is the graveyard over here, this giant pit. And there are a few places we didn't get to. We didn't go to the swamp. There's a swamp here. I mean, there's a castle here, which I don't know if it's in the game, but we certainly didn't go to last time. There's some sort of ruins in there. That's the forest glade thing where you go meet the elf. We didn't do that either. That's kind of a weird crab village thing. We went up there. There's a volcano up there. There's something in those mountains. There's so many places we didn't go to. But do you know what? I'll certainly be playing this some more myself. I do want to get through it. I want to see what we can do and how far I can get. But that'll be the last time we see it on the channel for a little while anyway. If they add loads of new exciting things, then maybe we'll come back to it. But yeah, it's very, very good. It's very good fun. And obviously it doesn't take that long to play. Now, I know I have been playing it for, 30-something minutes by this point, but that's because I'm reading everything aloud. If you don't read everything aloud, you can literally just go bish bash bosh, click, 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 and get stuff done. So you want to read it to get the story, because it's all about the story and the character. But yeah, you don't have to read it out loud if you really want to, if it helps, if you're reading it to someone else, yeah, rock on. But yeah, so obviously it's quicker to play if you're just playing it on your own without verbalizing everything. So yeah, give it a go. Just One Line. It is a lot of fun. It's very good fun, and I like it a lot. It is a Geek Cupboard favourite, I would say. And yeah, thanks to Des again for giving me the unlock save so I could actually go and be a Dwarven mage in the first place. It was jolly good fun. I'm just a bit sad that Dwarfish Carol did not get to do more quests. We didn't get to see more of Dwarfish Carol on her adventures, but never mind. If you have enjoyed this video, or indeed the little mini series we've had of Just One Line, then please do leave a like, and also please do subscribe to keep up to date with all the other bits and bobs that we get up to in the Geek Cupboard. But for now, thank you very much for joining me in the Geek Cupboard, and I will see you next time. This is going to end badly. This is going to end badly, I suspect. Oh my god, it's Pengu. So yeah, I don't know how to do the engine bit. I feel that might be a problem in making a car. I've broken the windscreen. It's ending badly. It's ending very badly indeed. I might crash into a tree. How do I do any of the stuff with this car?